Okay, this is weird. I don't know how I'm dealing with this. This is gonna need a while to get used to. I'm a little lost, I have to say. Oh boy, this is confusing. Can we at least maybe get some spooky background shit going on here? Okay. Let's just deal with this for now. So opening season 2, I was thinking of doing this little fascinating film. When I was about 15 years old, and we were like hanging around this youth club down in Kronberg of Germany, I was invited to this horror movie party, and with my fascination for horror movies, this was like the coolest thing to do. It was like totally exciting because this movie was banned everywhere, and it was like really tough for us kids to get our hands on it. Back in the day, we didn't have any internet or anything like that at all, so all we had was this VHS of this film. And it was this film that made me realize that I will always, until I die, be attached to the horror genre. Because once you put it in, when the splatter effects and the blood and the gore started, everyone knew they would remember this movie for the rest of their fucking lives.
Party's over.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Movie Void, where we review whatever the fuck we feel like reviewing. And welcome to Season 2. How do you like it? I don't know how to feel about this yet exactly. Well, today we are doing none other than Peter Jackson's Braindead, also known as Dead Alive in other countries. So before Peter Jackson became the Hobbit we all know and love today, he used to make quite a bunch of other films, and most of them were very horror influenced. For example, The Frighteners, or Heavenly Creatures. But even before that, before he was a big director, he made 3 B-movie, trashy, motherfucking, gory splatter flicks, which of being Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, and of course Braindead, which we are doing today. This film was pretty much the one that put Jackson on the map. Like, after this was released, people knew who the fuck he was. I have never in my life seen a movie with so much blood and guts as this one. To this very day, it is still banned in many countries, including Germany, and it is very hard to find an uncut copy of it. But you know what? We got one! And so we will be doing the 104-minute version of it. So let's take a look at it today, if it still holds up in its absolute blood-drenched massacre. Here we go, Peter Jackson's Braindead. So, our story starts off in 1957, where 2 archaeologists or researchers are carrying a box with some sort of animal inside. They are situated in Skull Island, which, funny fact by the way, is the same place where King Kong takes place, which Peter Jackson would later on remake right after the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So these 2 researchers are running around and they are suddenly stopped by a tribe. And they're all like,
What are these buggers playing at?
and as researchers are, they made their long way to catch this animal, and they are not very pleased about the tribe trying to stop them. So this guy starts shoving this permit into the tribe's faces.
You tell these jokers that I have the big rubber stamp from the boss man in Palembang. Permit. Looky see. Permit. Permit.
And actually pulls out a gun.
I'm a New Zealand zoo official, and this monkey is going to Newtown.
So they run, until suddenly the main researcher is bit by the animal. And now he has... which causes this to happen.
We've got the bite. There's some Dettol in the Jeep. Oh, jeez, no! No! What are you doing?
Zingaya!
Oh, shit!
And then the title sequence sets in. This is where I have to mention the score of this film is very fascinating because it consists of a lot of themes. And when you hear the theme that we are listening to now, you know that treachery or some sort of evil is afoot. Through the title sequence, we see the journey of the animal, and as it hits the pin lane, we are introduced to the love theme of this film. Yes, my friends, this movie actually has a love theme. The reason why Braindead actually has a love theme is because Braindead is actually a love story. Who would have thought? So the opening sequence closes and we actually begin with our real story, which is where we meet one of our main characters. This is Paquita. And Paquita works at this little grocery store and she is in love with this dude called Roger. Now look at this serious flirting going on.
That's a lot. Tell your dad I'll be round on Thursday with the Savloys. That's a pretty dress, Paquita.
This movie is even bold enough to bring out the classical
See you later, alligator.
line. I am just missing a...
crocodile.
Anyway, Paquita seems to live with her family, and she has a grandmother
You like that boy, Paquita?
who reads tarot cards for her every now and then.
Cards.
And this time she's reading about her love life. And what a surprise! The person she is meant to fall in love with is...
Not Roger. There will be one romance, and it shall last forever.
but this other dude. And she will recognize him by...
By the symbol of the star and of the moon.
And this is where we then get our main character stumbling into the store.
Just dropping off our order. Mum says to pack the biscuits on top because she doesn't want any broken.
His name is Lionel, and he's sort of a dweeb. And Paquita is not too keen on Lionel at first. She is actually quite annoyed by his mumblings and stumblings and fumblings. But then, suddenly this happens.
I'll take one of these now. Sorry.
Oh yes, friends, it is the symbol of the moon and the stars. And you know what that means? They are romantically entangled.
Romantically entangled.
Paquita approaches Lionel like I do when I fall in love with somebody. And Lionel flees Like everybody does who I fall in love with. So we go on with Lionel to his house and realize that he is still living with his mother,
There's a beetle.
who is quite a bitch, one notices right away. She commands Lionel around, and he pretty much acts like mama's boy, pretty much doing everything she tells him. And his mother has these certain concerns, such as,
You'll be pleased to know that your mother has been voted treasurer-elect of the WLWL, the Wellington Ladies Welfare League.
I did not know that something like the Women's Welfare League actually even existed.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Anyway, Lionel is forced to mow the lawn, where we get a bit of foreshadowing of what is going to be happening later on in the film. And this is where Paquita steps in again with the delivery. Lionel is surprised to see her.
Get off, you stupid dog.
And it doesn't take long until we get a bunch of flirting going on.
Your brother usually does the deliveries.
Not today.
Oh,
Oh, it's a big house.
oh.
You live here always?
Yeah?
Oh,
You like my dog? It's very big, yes?
oh.
Any bigger and he'd belong in a zoo.
Zoo, pardon?
Zoo, you know, animals, cages.
Ah, claro.
And this is where Paquita sees her chance to ask Lionel on a date.
I like to go with zoo. I go with the zoo.
Oh, no, no, no. You want to go to the zoo?
Yes, please.
We are now 15 minutes into the film, and what I am enjoying so much about it is the comic way the story here is presented. It is honestly like you are watching a cartoon, but it's live action, and that is thanks to the incredible direction of Peter Jackson and the wonderful acting we get by these characters. Cut to Lionel and Paquita's date at the zoo, where we are also introduced to another theme the score has to offer, the I'm doing a fun activity theme. Lionel and Paquita's date is actually going very well. They are exchanging romantic glances, actually holding hands, and after Lionel tells Paquita the tragic story of his father.
When I was young, I was at the beach and I nearly drowned when I fell off this pier. My dad dived in to save me, but as he was climbing out, this freak wave just washed him out to sea and he drowned.
They actually kiss. Aw. The romantic date takes a turn when they spot this somewhat fucked up stop motion monkey. And this is the monkey that was transported from Skull Island that we see in the beginning of the film. Their beautiful date comes to a halt when suddenly Lionel's mother appears and is attacked by the evil monkey. Lionel's mother is so terribly, terribly distressed that she has to take him home. And Lionel, being the mama's boy that he is, has no choice but to comply. So night sets in, and Lionel tucks his mama into bed. But right before he wants to go to sleep, he gets an unexpected visit.
Shh. Keep your voice.
And Lionel is nervous. I mean,
I'll get it tomorrow.
what if his mother saw that Paquita was actually here? She brings him his jacket. Lionel is happy to see her, but he's nervous and says this.
It could have waited till the morning.
Is that all you have to say?
And she wants to go on another date, but Lionel, he has his mama to deal with. And he knows this isn't a good idea, and he tries to explain it to her. But Paquita's all like,
But we are romantically entangled.
well, anyway, this ends up being this sort of Romeo and Juliet type of thing, because no matter how badly Lionel wants to stop these problems from happening and keep taking care of his mother, like the mama's boy that he is, he can't help but fall in love with Paquita. And so they end up in bed, while Lionel's mother has horrific dreams. So morning sets in, and Lionel's mother looks like the living dead. And things aren't looking too swell with Lionel's mother. And much to her dismay, the doorbell rings. And what do you know? It's the Mattersons from the WLWL, the Ladies Welfare League, or whatever I mentioned the name in the beginning of this review. And Lionel's mother doesn't want to rest. No, this is her big day. She has to please the Welfare League so she can get into this crew. And things are a little tough when her face starts falling off.
Oh.
But no matter! The dinner is prepared and they all sit down. And it doesn't take very long for everyone around there to notice that things are a little off with Lionel's mother.
Have you had any thoughts on the agenda for the annual meeting?
Annual meeting. Annual meeting.
Did I mean everybody notices things are a little off? No, not really. The husband of the WLWL woman doesn't really notice what's wrong at all and can't wait for pudding.
She never likes the stuff.
And doesn't want to leave until he has some pudding. And this is where shit gets seriously fucked up. Yeah, that just happened. So Lionel's mother then is put back into bed, and Lionel is left cleaning the house again. Until Paquita shows up. Paquita's dog, however, has other plans and runs up the stairs, where he encounters some trouble.
Paquita, wait! God, Mum!
Oh, Fernando! Your mother ate my dog!
Yes, my friends, and that is why the Spanish title for Braindead officially translates to Your Mother Ate My Dog. And things then start getting totally out of hand when Lionel's mother sees Paquita. She wants to attack her, but Lionel protects her and they fall down the stairs. Paquita brings in the doctor, who states that Lionel's mother is dead.
Your mother's dead, Lionel.
Lionel is upset as fuck. But that doesn't go on too long because suddenly his mother does her Jesus number and wakes from the dead only to kill the doctor. This is where we get our first splatter effects in the film. It doesn't take long until the nurse, which was also attacked by the mother, also rises from the dead. And then you have Lionel's zombie mother fighting with Lionel's zombie doctor. It's almost like Taylor Swift versus Katy Perry. Anyway, Lionel doesn't know what to do really and just throws them into the basement. Yes. Hide your problem. Lionel can't really sleep from all the noise these zombies are making and decides to go to the crematory to visit this mad scientist to get something that will calm his zombie pets down and obtain some tranquilizer. Lionel then returns to Paquita's store, where he wants to ask her grandmother about these certain dark powers. And things especially aren't looking good for anybody when all of a sudden his mother wakes up and is strong enough to break out of the house and fly into the store. Which then results in this wonderful little slapstick joke.
They must have discharged you early.
His mother is proclaimed dead for the second time, and we then cut to her funeral. At the funeral, we are introduced to a couple of new characters, like Lionel's uncle. He presents himself to be the sort of Harvey Weinstein in the 50s.
I can tell you're not a Cosgrove.
I felt that way when I was young, and sometimes I still feel that way.
What? Too soon? We are also introduced to this lovely priest who is very concerned about the funeral since Lionel isn't there.
In 10 minutes, his mother will be delivered into the hands of the Lord in his absence.
Cut to what Lionel is doing. He knows his mother is out of control and that he will have to pump her up with tranquilizer unless he doesn't want this funeral to end up in a gore fest. But he's having trouble doing so because he is interrupted by the person leading the crematory, and what do you know, his assistant, Peter Jackson himself in a cameo. Damn, he used to be a lot skinnier back then. I used to be a lot skinnier. Oh, good old days. And as the priest said himself, the funeral has to start without Lionel. But he is sort of tied up at the moment because he is battling his zombie mother while the funeral is taking place. And he isn't doing that good of a job and ends up tumbling into the funeral with his mother in his arms, looking like some motherly obsessed idiots, and reminding one a little of that scene in Twin Peaks with Laura's father.
Oh, my baby! Laura! My baby! Laura! Laura!
Please, hang on.
after these events, Paquita is a little concerned about Lionel since he has been talking to her recently, and Lionel just pretty much shooshes her away. And this is where night sets in. And Lionel decides to pick up his mother from the grave before she can cause any harm to anybody. He is suddenly disrupted by a bunch of rock and roll hooligans who beat the shit out of him.
Get his wallet.
The hooligans, to upset Lionel even more, they decide to take a piss on his mother's grave. They soon notice this isn't a good idea when all of a sudden his mother's hand jumps out of the grave and literally fucks one of the hooligans. And attacks the other ones. This is where the priest from earlier steps into action. He notices something is wrong. This calls for
divine intervention.
And the priest jumps into this Bruce Lee fighting style and actually delivers a catchphrase.
I kick ass for the Lord.
And that's exactly what he does. Look at him go. Look at him kick everybody's ass. He is fucking crazy. He is like Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee combined into one person. It is incredible what this priest guy does until suddenly this happens. I feel bad for him. I mean, sure, we see more of him in a zombie-like state later on in the movie, but I really enjoyed this character, this kung fu fighting priest. Like, this character is just such an amazing idea that I would have loved to see them give him his own film. This kung fu fighting priest, it's incredible. What I'm a huge fan of about this film is the humor. It doesn't just do slapstick, it just goes completely haywire silly. It doesn't take itself seriously whatsoever. And this kung fu fighting priest just nails it in perfection when it comes to silliness. Anyway, Lionel does manage to tranquilize his mother somehow. And then we cut to this. Lionel feeding all his pet zombies. And this scene is maybe the one scene of the film that doesn't really make sense much, because why the fuck would Lionel be feeding his zombie pets at the dinner table who are like generally dangerous to the world, and the only sole purpose for the scene is to deliver some gross out comedy. And boy does this scene deliver some fucking gross out comedy. Fuck me. The zombie doctor and the zombie priest start developing this thing for each other, and Lionel is having trouble keeping them under control. The gross out humor is funny and fine, but it's not really one of the strong points of the film, and from the second viewing on, I think this scene feels a tinge annoying. So while that's going on, the doorbell rings again, and what do you know, it's Lionel's Uncle Harvey Weinstein in the 50s. And he's come here to talk to Lionel about something. If there's one thing Mr. Weinstein cares more about than fucking or assaulting some women, it's money.
Your mother was always intending to leave me a bequest.
Oh?
Oh, yes. We talked about it many times. It was a foregone conclusion, really. It's just with her dying suddenly, she didn't get the chance to include me in her will.
And he wants part of what Lionel's mother left him. Much more to his interest, all of a sudden some sexual noises start coming from the dining room.
What the hell's that? It's the pipes. They do this sometimes.
It's not the pipes, Lionel. That's somebody doing the business.
We all know that this is probably the zombie priest and zombie doctor fucking. Lionel somehow manages to get rid of him. And decides to stop this weird sexual thing going on. Later on, we cut to Lionel wandering around Paquita's store, hiding.
Lionel!
Not very successfully. He's looking beat up. He looks like a junkie. He's very washed up.
I dropped the shilling. It must have,
And
I come to see you shut the door.
Paquita confronts him. He pushes her away, but as always, love is always stronger than bullshit. And Lionel wants to talk to her again, but all of a sudden, Roger, from the beginning of the film, disturbs the situation and knocks Lionel out.
You know what they're saying about you, don't you? You've got funny in the head.
Poor fellow. And it's not really hard to express your pain to your friends when you keep these pet zombies in your basement. Back to the pet zombies in Lionel's basement! There is something weird going on in the old radio box. And whew, to our surprise, looky here! The zombie doctor and the zombie priest have created a little zombie baby. Yep, that's happening. We're doing this. Now we cut on to one of the funniest scenes in the entire film. Lionel, after being told that he's gone funny in the head, tries to have a normal sort of life and decides to do a fun activity. As you hear, the fun activity theme is being played on the piano, and goes on a walk with the new entry of his zombie collection, the zombie baby. He watches the other parents and tries to act the way they do, but a zombie baby isn't really like a regular baby, and this is where things totally spiral out of control. And pretty much a bunch of chaos occurs in the park. Ouch! Lionel then delivers one of the funniest lines in the film.
Hyperactive.
Fun fact about the scene. This scene almost wasn't shot at all. Believe it or not, the crew actually had some money left from the budget of the movie, and this was the last scene they shot. Back at home, things aren't even better because Mr. Weinstein has somehow made it into Lionel's house and has found the zombies in the basement. He thinks they are corpses and that Lionel is doing some sick shit with them and blackmails him to give him everything his mother left him.
You want the money?
Sector Sergeant Barlow, I'd like to report a multiple murder. Yes, I'll wait.
The money and the house.
Lionel is pretty much put in a corner and has no choice but to agree. So now that Harvey Weinstein has blackmailed Lionel out of his house, he decides to throw a party.
Hurry up, bastard! Thought we'd pop over and take a squiz at your new digs.
Now, I'm gonna ask you guys a big question. Can you imagine where this is going? We cut to Paquita walking around with Roger. She suddenly notices, whilst walking with Roger, that there's a party going on at Lionel's house. Surprised, because Lionel has been keeping to himself very badly recently, she decides to check out what is going on. So Paquita walks in, and of course the first thing that happens is she is groped by Harvey Weinstein. After kicking him in the balls, she goes to the basement and finds out why Lionel has been keeping to himself lately. So, after an emotional conversation with Lionel, she convinces him that the best thing to do is poison the zombies and bury them. And that is exactly what they do. Their love is strong enough for him to let go. They leave the basement and want to step out, but Mr. Weinstein doesn't like that at all, and he's not letting him go anywhere until he has papers that declare the house to be his. Harvey Weinstein also gets very violent towards Paquita. This gets Lionel to man up and stand up for himself and punch him in the face. Harvey Weinstein doesn't like that at all and throws Lionel into the basement, where he realizes that the poison that he gave to the zombies is actually animal stimulant. And then we get this thriller-style comeback of the zombies, and they are meaner and badder than ever before. Well, Lionel is lucky and somehow manages to escape from the really fucked up zombies. Now guys, remember when I said you have an idea where this is going? Well, this is where it gets there. So this is pretty much where all hell breaks loose. And the next 30 minutes approximately are just filled with gigantic splatter slapstick, such as this, or this, or this. And even this. Lionel mans up many times, and actually mostly to defend Paquita, which truly is romantic in many, many ways. Lionel manages to escape to the attic and leaves maybe the most cutest piece of guts ever behind. And this piece of guts, it is just so adorable. Just look at how cute it is. Oh. Aww. Please, if anybody sees like a stuffed version of this, like a doll of this, or can make me a stuffed doll of this cute piece of guts and intestine, please send it to me. It is so adorable. Well, back to Lionel, who has managed to make it to the attic, all of a sudden makes an interesting discovery. He remembered the story about his father dying completely wrong. In reality, he was having an affair with a younger girl, and his mother caught them and ended up killing him and his affair. Which all of a sudden sheds a totally different light upon Lionel's mother. What a twist.
Like I aspire to do.
Shut up, Shyamalan. Don't even go there. Don't even try it. Harvey Weinstein is up to all sorts of shenanigans during these sequences, but ends up losing his life too when he encounters Lionel's mom. And they're holding off the zombies pretty well, but things are getting really bad because they're getting weak. They can't defend themselves anymore. And then suddenly, the door opens. And it's Lionel. It's going to save the day with a lawnmower.
Party's over.
And what follows is maybe the most incredible gore fest in the history of cinema. The amount of blood and guts splattering through this entire process is legendary. The amount of red shown on the screen and the amount of blood that's gushing out is record-breaking. No film, to this very day, has gone this far, and the results are just incredible. And what is so fun is that I've shown this movie to a lot of people, even like the squeamish ones. And the fun thing about Braindead is that the gore is just so over the top and so comically and slapstickly funny that it won't freak anybody out really, because you can't really take it seriously. No one can. In fact, the BBFC found the gore in this film so comical and inoffensive that they were considering of giving this a rated 15. Like, people 15 years of age could go see this movie, which is pretty much close to a PG-13 in the USA. They were scared though about parental protests, so they did decline to do the 18, but they understood what was going on. Germany, country where the uncut version of this film is banned to this very day. I'm looking at you. Shame on you, you cunt, pussy, shit of a country. Fuck you. Well, back to Lionel and Paquita, who are enjoying a romantic moment since the zombies have been defeated, suddenly realize that Lionel still has something to do.
No, you just get out of here.
What?
Haven't seen Mum yet.
And then we encounter Lionel's mother. Lionel confronts her with all the bullshit that he's found out. That she murdered his father, and that she's been holding him down, and he's really manning up. He's standing up to his mother.
All my life.
But still gets sucked into what seems to be this gigantic vagina. Poisons her stomach. I'd like to think of it as a gigantic vagina. It fits the tone of the situation better. Paquita loses all hope, but Lionel manages to step out and actually kill his zombie mother. The house goes up in flames. Even the zombie baby is in the flames. Sirens ring. Paquita and Lionel stand in front of the flames, holding each other. And despite having all the blood and guts in their face, you can imagine, go for the kiss. And that, my friends, is how Peter Jackson's Braindead ends. Well, so what do we make of Braindead? Is it one of the bloodiest motherfucking movies in the world? Yes, it is. Is it a good movie? Oh, bet your ass it is. Does it still hold up today? Oh, hell yes! Do I recommend you guys to see it? Of course I do! This is the best film to show your friends at Halloween. Not a lot of people know it, but it has a cult following. But your regular movie mainstream goer will never have heard of it. And putting this on at a Halloween party will just really kick off and set off the party. You can't do a better job than Braindead. I'm surprised that the actors Timothy Balm and Diana Penalver didn't really start in anything else. I mean, they were really good in this film. Why didn't they ever become really, really famous? I don't know. Well, I saw this movie in 95, 96, and after I saw this movie, and with each coming movie of Peter Jackson's, I always kept telling everyone, one day, that Peter Jackson is going to make one of the most amazing films of all time and will be remembered forever. Just give him some money. And that turned out to be Lord of the Rings. Peter Jackson, after Lord of the Rings, went on to make the incredibly cool King Kong remake, and then moved on into the visually stunning disaster that The Hobbit is. And I think his next project will be more successful. Let's check what he's up to. You gotta be fucking kidding me. God damn it, what I'd give to see Peter Jackson make another horror film. So, everyone, check out Braindead if you haven't already. It's amazing. Try to find an uncut version. And I'm hoping you're enjoying this green screen business. If you're not, say something. If you do, also say something. Be sure to like this video if you liked it, and if you like the shit I do, subscribe. We are still in the middle of our Halloween specials here. Next time we'll be airing on Halloween, and we'll be doing Tim Burton's classic, The Nightmare Before Christmas, so you don't want to miss that. And everybody, this was the Movie Void, first time in green screen, and you will see me when you see me. I don't know if I should walk in or walk out with this setting.